Right. Can we have a seat? Study. Now, good morning. I believe I did not introduce myself formally just now, just a brief introduction. My name is CJ, without CJ. Basically what we do is we provide training, coaching in various areas, including sales, including leadership, including cross-cultural learning, and so on. So every now and then we have events like this. Like I mentioned, this morning we were actually targeting more at Laowai, but for some reason we actually have 5 Laowais on the list. Only 2 turn up. 感觉上老外好像越来越不靠谱，是吧？ So we do also have events in Chinese. They're mainly in the afternoon. 我们有时候下午会有中文的一些就是活动。Right, so if you came to the wrong event, my apologies. But the good thing about if you woke up really early and come over here for the breakfast, the good news is that for the breakfast you get better food at lower price. Right, so the afternoon events are priced higher, and the food is not so great. Breakfast is much better, so that's good news. So thank you for coming. And our topic today basically is how to find out anything from a customer. I do understand that this is a more of a sales topic, but somehow we have a lot more HRs in the room. Don't know why, but that's the situation. So, and instead of me just talking, what we really want to do is to also have some interaction. You can actually have some brief discussion with your group members, and in case you are also eating, it's definitely perfectly all right to talk with your mouth full. I know it's rude in the West, but in China, and in fact, it's a very Chinese thing. Did anyone realize that in every Chinese meeting, or in most Chinese meetings, usually you need to have food on the table before you can really talk. Right? 就是中文要开会，没吃饭跟开不了会，是吧？要吃吃喝喝才能开会。Anyway, so talking about sales, we're talking about how we can actually find out anything from our customers. So we all know the importance of asking questions. 我们都了解提问重要性。Almost every sales training these days, if you go for any sales training, even those that you download free from Tudou or Youku, just any sales training they go, usually they'll tell you you need to ask questions. Right? Every sales training says that. But what are some of the challenges we face when we ask questions? We all know we need to ask questions, but what are some of the challenges we face when we ask customers questions? Now, notice that I didn't mention here. You need the questioning is about asking customers, because earlier on we know that there are substantially larger number of HRs coming in, so we're just phrasing it in general terms. So it can be you are asking customers questions if you're sales. It can be if you're HR, you're doing recruiting. If you are doing hiring, you're asking interview questions or any other questioning to anyone. So generally, what are some of the challenges we face when we ask questions? 我们在提问的时候，一般会遇到怎么样的一些挑战或困难？
不能 get point。不能 get point。
哦，不能抓重点。你一半中文一半英文有一点就是转不开的人。Right， 不能 get a right point， 怎么样叫做不能抓到重点呢？
就是比如说有一个顾问，他可能想一个销售的一个顾问，他可能想知道我们业务的一些痛点，但是他可能问了一些东西，都是一些表面的一些东西。
OK。
对。
就问你们最近去哪玩了？假期做什么了？员工多少人了？
对，就不能问到对方的痛点。
Okay. They ask a lot of things. They're all only scratching on the surface. right? You're not going into the core of the business or of the needs, right? Interesting. This is actually a feedback from a customer, not a salesperson. Interesting. Okay. What else? 还有吗？还有其他的一些挑战？
跟对方比如说第一次见面，跟不太清楚对方的背景啊，或者是一些情况，所以说你见面的时候可能会
对，原先对对方不了解，所以不知道怎么去提问。Right, you don't really know the person in advance, so you probably could not prepare the right questions to ask. Right. What else? Yes.
有一些就是应该去拜访客户的时候，可能有时候带着某些目的性来，但是一些敏感性的问题，不知道找什么样合适的机会，或者以什么样的一种形式来开这个头。
OK， 是不是目的性太强了？
总归会有一些，有时候去谈判的时候，总需要涉及一些实际性的问题。
So sometimes questioning, sometimes you know, salespeople, you visit a customer, there's usually a purpose that you visit a customer. You want to make sales, right? I mean, what is the purpose of sales? 做销售的目的是什么？ What is the goal of doing sales? In very simple terms. 我们最通俗的话，如果说做销售的目的是什么？ Make money from whom? From customer, right? So this is what sales, right? You go to a customer, you want to make money from customer. Now, this is perfect, all right as a purpose, but if you bring the purpose too strongly, 你这目的性如果太强 you go to a customer, and the customer feel that you are there to take money away from the customer and run away, right? So,
you're there to provide value.
Yeah, you're there to provide value. You're there to hopefully provide something the customer wants, and the customer wants to give you money.
Value
right?
exchange.
That is one. Yes, Yolanda.
What I think is because maybe the topic is fitting very good for me
Sure.
because I always talk with customers and I always need to ask questions. But
Sure.
what I face sometimes is that the question I have is too specific for this person because my product is
Right, very
like
technical.
He doesn't know what's all behind,
Right,
so he
yes.
cannot
Sure.
answer it very rightly.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
So,
Sure.
so there's a lot of evaluation before with asking questions.
Yes. There are two things. Let me go to the question on the purpose first, and I'll go to the different scenario. And they're all very interesting things that we encounter with customers. If you go to a customer that you bring your purpose too strongly, 目的性如果太强的话, you ask questions like, so when do you need the product? Right? How much of that product do you need? Right? What is the price you like? Right? When can we deliver? Right? And by the way, these are all open questions. We're saying that we need to ask open questions, and these are all open questions, and these are all the wrong questions. No, they're wrong questions to us, but they're wrong questions to us at the beginning. 你刚开始的时候，你问这提问就不合适 ，right？你要签单的时候，你问这个提问，那非常需要。Okay, so it's a matter of when you schedule the right questions to ask at the right time. And to Yolanda's question about when customers don't really know what they're doing, right? Sometimes you need to think about how to phrase things in the customer's point of view. So in the case of photography, so sometimes you may want to have a contrast between what you think is good photography and what you think is bad photography. All right, you need to sometimes demonstrate to the customer, okay, this is what we all think are great products, but actually there are certain kinds of problems. And then this is what we can do that will solve those problems. And have slowly educate the customer to understand that we are not really going into the technical, the very detailed things just because we know the detailed things. We're going into that it's because there's certain details that normal people, ordinary people, don't see. But if you really have discerning taste, 如果你要求比一般高的话, then maybe these are some of the differences that you may want to know. Right? It goes the same for photography. It goes the same for things like when we work a lot with German companies and German industrial products. 德资的一些就是工业品 and machines and all that. equipment and all that. So typical things, typical facts about German companies if they produce industrial products, industrial equipment. German companies, in terms of quality, how good are they? Very good. In terms of price, high. Even higher.
Welcome, you're welcome.
Right? In
重
terms,
视的，重视的质量非常好。
Yeah, but, and then if you look into if you want to have customization, if you want to have that flexibility, how is it? If you want to customize the product, customize the solution, customize the equipment, right? How does the German company fare in that sense?
Fail.
Sorry?
Fail or fair? What?
How does the German
How they
company
rate?
does in that aspect to customize things for the customer?
Oh, just 50 years later is okay.
50 years later. Yeah, it will take a long while. Usually,
Both prices.
usually German companies they take a long time. They usually don't like to have non-standardized items, right? In terms of delivery schedule, long time, right? So these are some issues with typical German companies if they're doing industrial equipment, and one. And if you're a salesperson for a German company, what you need to do is to really want to educate the customer on, despite that we are high priced, we're not very flexible, we take a long time to deliver. In terms of quality, yes, we are better than the made in China type quality, but then again, the customer may not really care about the differences in that quality. So the salesperson actually needs to educate slowly as to why you need to have a much better quality. Why this little difference, maybe the made in China product or maybe the local made product can achieve 80% of the same quality, right? But why that additional 20% matter to this customer? Right? The other thing about made in Germany and made in China in general terms is that if you're a European made, if you're American made, if you're a Western product, usually you have achieved much better stability. Meaning, if you are producing in large quantities, chances are the quality is going to be very consistent or a lot more consistent. We're not saying that it's going to be 100% consistent, but it's going to be a lot more consistent than a local made product, which can achieve pretty good quality at a much lower price, but may not achieve that level of stability. Right, so that's some of the differences, and these are some of the things that may matter to some customers. And the thing is that the salesperson will need to find out from the customer, are those things important to the customer? How does the customer use those products that they put into production? What matters to them and what does not matter to them, and slowly guide them to a possible solution. The other thing about selling is this: when you're selling, you don't really go to the customer and try to close the customer, especially if it's a new customer. 销售不是说你找到客户就想要把这个客户做成，尤其是新客户。Why? Because sales needs two parties to come together. 销售需要双向的一个认同，双方的一个认同。As a seller, the customer must be able to have the need and be able to afford the price that they are quoting, right? And you need to qualify the customer first. From the customer's point of view, they need to find out whatever you're selling, does that fulfill their need, right? If it doesn't fulfill their need, they won't buy. It's not a matter of the salesperson's fault. It's just that you don't have the product that they want. So in the initial stages of selling, 在销售的一个初步的一个阶段的时候, what you're really doing is you are just trying to find, do we have a good fit? Do we have a good match between what I'm selling, what my company does, what we can provide, versus the customer that's sitting right across me? Is that a good fit, or are we merely wasting each other's time? Or there could be a good fit, but maybe this customer does not have an immediate need. 可能这个客户是挺好的，但他暂时没这个需求。 maybe I should come back in 6 months' time. Maybe I should come back in a year's time. All right, so that's something that we need to think about. So we don't just go in and try to close immediately. We are going in on a fact-finding mission. 我们过去是了解情况 and we just want to find, okay, can we close today? Can we advance the sale today? Or is this a customer that we keep for future purpose? Or is this a customer that basically has got no hope? And we should rather spend our time on other customers instead. Right, so that's something to think about. So the other part about asking questions is that why customers sometimes are unwilling to answer our questions. We say we must ask questions. 我们需要这个必须提问，必须提问。But on the other hand, why are customers sometimes unwilling to answer our questions? Yes.
Because they might not be very clear what they actually need.
Okay. Sometimes customers don't know what they want.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that happens. What else?
Or you're asking determining questions, like if they feel like they would come into a box, or they need
Right,
to
right,
give
okay.
they need to give
你
an
在给客户
answer.
设套，然后客户知道你在给他们设套。Right, laying a trap and the customer knows it. Sorry.
No trust at that moment.
No trust. Right. And
Yeah.
what kinds of trust are we talking about? Because trust is a very huge topic. You're right to say no trust. Now, if a salesperson comes and visits a customer for the first time, both parties don't know each other, right? How can we build trust enough so that the customers are willing to answer some of the questions? 如果这客户这销售人员，如果您是客户，销售人员第一次来拜访。
That is the key question for my entire business.
销售人员拜访，那个彼此还不怎么认识，那你怎么？如果是销售人员，销售人员怎么能够就是怎样才能够，建立一点点的这个信任，使到这客户更加愿意去回答这个提问？他了解你要什么？
对我的需求在哪里？他问的问题是
Okay.
可以帮助我解决我现在这个问题的。
Okay, 他问题
我了解。
So I must understand you. I must understand your needs. I must suggest things that will.
而不是说感觉他在硬推销一
Okay,
个。
I'm not pushing. 不要再硬推，就是 okay. So it's not pushing. Not only that, if you look at, yes, you're right. I mean, people prefer to share information with people that they trust. It's a simple fact. We don't want to just share information anyhow. We only share information with people we trust. And of course, trust is a big thing. Big in the sense that there's always a degree of trust. 我们信任是一个幅度，所以你有多信任一个人，在取决于你这个幅度有多大。
That's very interesting.
So, at one end of trust is that you can entrust your life, your property, your everything to someone. 如果在一个信任的一个最高的一个幅度，就是说你能够把你的生命财产托付给他人。That's one level of trust, right? And then there are other levels of trust that are not so drastic, right? So there are the different degrees. So as a salesperson, all you need to do is to build enough trust so that the other person feel comfortable sharing information with you. 你要的就是你不需要你第一次见面嘛，你不可能说你有多大一个信任感，但你要做的就是你只要让对方觉得你是靠谱。我这个信息跟你分享的是可以的，那就足够。Right? That's the first thing that you want to do. Now, two kinds of trust at work in a work setting. One is, does the customer trust you in your integrity? And we'll talk about integrity in a while. 这客户是不是能够信任你是否正直、真诚？ And there's a difference between integrity and honesty. 真诚跟诚实是两个概念。We'll come to that in a while. The other part is, does the customer trust you in your ability? You can be very good, very much in integrity, 很真诚的一个人，很正直一个人，但是做事掉链子。Right, you can be a very good person, but you just couldn't get things done. And the customer's not because you're a bad person, the customer doesn't trust you, but the customer doesn't trust you because you lack ability. So there are two aspects of trust. as a salesperson, the customer needs to trust you in the sense that if I give you this information, can you come up with the right solution for me? Or if I give you this information, can you make use of the information and tell me how best I can solve my problem? Right? So that's the ability that customers will require the salesperson. Other abilities can include that, okay, I have this problem, you're a salesperson, can you work internally with your technical people, with your finance people, with your boss, with whoever it is, even with external partners, and give me the thing that I want. Right? So this issues of ability. So customers are looking at both subconsciously. 就潜意识客户都在评估这两方面。你做人是不是真诚？你会为我设想？我如果委托你某些事情，你是不是能够帮我办妥？ That's the two things. So how do you build trust with customers? There are 5 steps, and it goes on sequential manner. 就我们5个步骤基本上都是逐个安排。The first thing that you need to do to build trust is you need to show you care. Right? This is the basis of not honesty but integrity. 一个人是否真诚，有一种就是表象嘛，就是说你能不能为对方设身处境，为对方设想。Can you think on the behalf of the other person? Right? So and by thinking on behalf of the other person, it's what we all mentioned earlier on. Do I really care about what you're doing? What are the challenges you're facing? What are the things that can be better? Or generally, am I curious just about what you are doing? Right? So that's about showing you care. Then the other part is show you can. You need to give confidence, whether through examples of what you have done with other customers, what are some of the cases, or if you can let the customer know this is how you can do it. Show that you have the ability to do so. Right? The third one is, of course, you keep in touch. This is after the first meeting, probably how you want to increase the amount of interactivity with the customer. The customers usually don't like salespeople to make the first sale and then disappear for the whole year, come back again just so that I can sign you up for the renewal. 客户有时候就是嘛，有些销售啊，这次做成了，然后一整年失踪了，失联了，然后呢，1年后再回来说啊，您要不要再续签？ Right? So these are some of the things that really irks customers. And of course, being honest, it's not about just pure honesty, it's about keeping your word. Nothing annoys a customer more than if you say you promise a customer you can do something, and then you can't. So we're not to say that salespeople intentionally try to lie to customers, but sometimes salespeople, in order to get the sale, sometimes make promises that they cannot keep. 有些销售嘛，就不是说销售不真诚啊，这就喜欢忽悠客户，不是这个概念。而是有时候销售为了得到单子而随意承诺。什么叫随意承诺 ？What do you mean by that? Customer says, "Can you deliver tomorrow?" And the sales says, "Yes." Can you do free installation? Yes. And we need training too. Free training? Yes. Free spare parts? Yes. Right? You say yes to everything, and you deliver nothing, right? And the customers get very upset. Okay, so this is something. If you cannot make the promise, don't. Right? If you are not sure, tell the customer, "Let me check." Right? So these are some of the things that if you make a promise, keep your word. If you cannot keep your word, if you're not too sure about, don't make the promise. Although this is rank number 4, but if you don't do this, it probably will destroy whatever you have built up previously. Right? And of course, the other thing about customers is that if there's anything about a customer, in public, always tell people about the good things about a customer. Even though there are certain things about a customer that you really dislike, there's certain things about customers that really frustrate you, there's certain things that the customers are doing that you think are bad practices. When you are venting these frustrations in public, don't mention the customer's name. Right? If you want to mention the customer, always mention them in positive light. 对外公开讲，就是说是客户，一定是讲他们正面，要不然不讲，要不然就千万别说，如果要是有负面的东西，千万别说是哪个客户。These are some of the things that the words get around, and people will get very upset as well. So these are some 5 things about building trust with customer on the first meeting. Oh, by the way, you don't have to take pictures of me all the time. I mean, not me, but
Just some of the time.
we'll be setting this PPT on a WeChat group that we'll be setting up after this session, so you'll get it in a while. On the first meeting, 如果是第一次见客户的时候 on the first meeting, probably the first couple of things is enough. Show you care and show you can. It's just enough for the customer to give you the information you need. For more, right? This is the first 2 things they do. Now, the next part is about how you actually structure your questioning strategy. Now, the thing about questioning is that, all sales training say you need to ask questions. And somehow we kind of feel that, well, we've been asking questions all our life, so what's so difficult about asking questions? The fact is that you need to have different things to prepare. You need to have different steps to prepare the customer to be willing to give you the information you want. 你要考虑到就是你的提问有一定的结构，有好的结构，客户才会愿意给你要的信息。So there are a few things. So we'll go step by step. One is you need to think about give a purposeful opening statement. You need to tell the customer why you're asking questions or what's the purpose of our meeting today. Okay, so that's one part. You need to prepare the customer. Number 2, you need to begin by understanding customer situation. You need to explore where they are versus where they want to be, and you need to ask questions on different aspects of the customer. We'll go into this step by step. First of all, if you want to have a good opening, before you ask questions, you need to have this 3 steps. State the purpose of the meeting. Number 2, what is the benefit of the meeting, and check if the customer is okay. Now, why we do this? This sounds very Western. This is not very Chinese. Chinese, we always like to chit chat and talk about the weather, talk about food, talk about holidays. It's fair enough. But chances are the people that you are meeting is going to be busy people. Right? As a salesperson, do you want to meet up with people who are busy, or do you want to meet up with people who are not busy? Right? 如果你是销售，你要找那些忙的人，还是找闲的人？
Key person.
Sorry?
To find a key person.
Find a key person, right? Is a key person likely to be busy or not busy? Busy or idle? Busy. The key person is always busy, right? Hardly we can find key people who are not busy. Right? If it's a key person that's busy, the first thing a busy person is going to think about is, why am I allocating my precious time to you? 我为什么要花这个？我事情很多，我很忙，我为什么要把我宝贵的时间就放在你身上？ That's the first thing that they'll go into their mind. So you need to at some point let them know, okay, this is our purpose. I want to meet up with you, and the benefit is for this purpose. What is the key benefit to you? I just want to check with you if this is okay. This sounds very theoretical. We'll go into more tips. The key statement, whatever you say, has to be helping customer what they want to accomplish, resolve, or avoid. 我们如果说一个目的，这目的必须是帮助客户他想要实现什么东西，还是要解决什么东西，还是要避免什么不好的东西。We got a concrete example later on. The reason will set an appointment as a high priority. The reason answers the question, what's in it for me? These are all very American concepts, but basically, and this statement, this sentence, 这句话 right, has to be clear, concise, and complete. 这句话要讲的清晰、简练、完整。In just a few words, just a simple sentence, the purpose of why we are meeting today. Right, and this is one simple example. Now, I'd like to find out if there are effective ways to achieve lesser downtime for your production. Is it okay to ask a few questions to understand the situation? 我想看看就是有什么有效的方式可以减少你们就是生产停机的这个时间，可以问一下问题，了解你们情况。Just something that phrase in the customer's situation, that is something that's benefit of the customer. Please don't phrase the purpose as in the purpose of us meeting today is to find out if we can sell you our products and we can get your money. Right? It is the purpose too. It's also very clear and concise, but there's no benefit to the customer. What we want to start is let's find an angle that could be beneficial to the customer. So you can think about your product, your services, whatever you're doing, and just find an angle. What is it that you can do so that the customer will benefit from whatever you're doing? You can be finding better ways to have better brochures, better design, better corporate image. It can be things about getting better solutions for training, right? It can be solutions on find better ways of how you can spend less time and get better results on something. There's anything that will help the customer to save time, save costs, get better results. Phrase it in that manner and go off with. Is it okay that I can ask a few questions and just to understand the situation? So in this, it's one sentence and one question, just two lines of words. Right? 我们只是一句话一个提问，这总共就2句话的一个时间。基本上我们做什么呢？the several things. One, we have a clear purpose that state a benefit to the customer. Why we are meeting today. 这目的跟给到客户的一个益处，一句话讲得清楚。Second thing is that we get permission. We get permission on how we can actually ask questions. We don't just go in and start asking questions. I give a reason. Hopefully, this reason is good enough for you, and I want a permission so that I can ask a question. And then I check with you with that permission. Is it okay to continue? 2句话把刚才3个主要的一个目的都讲明白。Right, so this is what we want, right? And why is it that we need to get the customer's permission before we ask questions? 为什么要在提问之前获得客户的许可才提问？
So he's open to it?
So he's open to it?
Absolutely.
Show respect. This 换位思考, just put yourself in the customer's shoe, right? What will happen if someone comes to you that you don't know, sits down, exchanges details, and start asking questions? And not only start asking questions, start asking 100 questions in 1 hour, right?
Defenses go straight up.
Yeah, you find that. Are you sure this is a salesperson and not the woman? Right. So it's something that you need to prepare the customer mentally that you're asking questions. Customer feel comfortable, and I'm just asking questions just to understand your situation. Right. So I'm not going to start off asking very sensitive questions. I'm just ask about your situation. Is it okay? Right, we put the customer at ease, there's less pressure on the customer is less nervous, it's easier to strike up a normal conversation. So that's what we want to do. Now, so we begin by understanding the customer situation. Now, in a lot of sales programs, a lot of questioning, we talk about situational questions, as in something just to understand overall situation, 大致上的一个情况的了解。But the truth is that it's actually more than that. Asking situational questions is not just about asking, where the customer spend for holidays, or frivolous questions like, how big is your company? Asking situational questions is about being genuinely curious. You are curious about what's happening with the customer. How do you go about doing business? What is it that makes a company run? You want to develop insights about how the customer will work around the company. You're developing insights about how they use the current products. Also, you want to be a good listener. No point asking questions and you're not listening. So these are some of the key things. You want to be genuinely curious, and we'll have an example of that. you want to develop insights, and you want to be a good listener. And in fact, before we go into exactly what those are, let's do an activity. Can we all have a partner? I think this group has got 3 persons, so some reason, right? So everyone else just get a partner. And I'm sure everybody here owns a phone, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So what I want you to do is, between your partner, decide who is A and who is B. Don't worry, I won't ask you to dance on the table. Right? Nothing.
Phase 2.
No. That's too evil. Right? Now, if you're A, what A does is you need to ask B everything about B's phone.
Oh.
Right? It can be things like why this phone, when you bought it, or how did you buy it, where did you buy it, and so on. But whatever. Just be as curious as possible about B's phone. Is that okay? Right? And we'll have 5 minutes on that. 5 minutes long. 2 minutes on that. Right? So 2 minutes time. A, be as curious as possible about B's phone. Right? So 2 minutes. Start now. Go.
A asks. Are you happy to ask?
以好奇的心态问对方的这个问题。
Not really.
要很好奇的对 B 的这个电话。
My phone was stolen. This is the quality not so good. I recently bought my phone and it got stolen on the train in the Philippines. And I thought, and I was protecting my phone until I got off the train. So I had somebody told me, be careful in Manila. I had my hand on my phone the whole time on the train until I got off. There were so many people. I had to do this right when I got off that phone. I'd already spent big money on that phone, so I didn't want to spend too much money on another phone. So I bought this phone, which is a middle Well, very nice. I had some problems, they're not very international. I bought it in China, and I put it in English and had the book. So I thought I will buy overseas after I put my phone right here, Western phone, but I didn't want to spend too much money. So I did this. And now it's very serious. I've she got connected with 3G. Now
Okay, thumbs up now.
And I'm planning to buy a
So remain in your seats for a moment. Right. Mark, I do understand that you are now really into the phone.
Forgive me. Thank you.
We never know that the phones can be so interesting.
Indeed.
Right. So I'm gonna ask all the B's. Do you feel comfortable sharing the little secrets about your phone just now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, the next question is, what did the A do to make you feel like you won? Specifically, what did A ask that makes you want to volunteer so much information?
Well, for myself, I was
Yes.
B. Maria asked some questions with some statements like, "Oh, your phone is very high quality,"
Oh, okay.
which is not the case. I've been researching to get rid of this phone, so that actually connected with
It does.
my current passion to replace my phone, and out came lots. So her strategy, she actually said, "Oh, your phone is high quality." She didn't just ask an open-ended question. She asked and that triggered a great response from me. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Which is no, it's not high quality. It's
It's
horrible.
not.
Right. And who's B over here?
Okay, at the very beginning, my partner asked me the question is that, okay, we start from, you have a very nice phone. So we get trust. I think, okay, she has the same interest like me. She not wants to know more. And from my side, I can deliver some more information to help her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't doubt what the, how to say, what's the purpose behind
Sure.
that. Yeah,
Sure.
that.
Sure. Anyone who start without making a statement like this is a high quality phone, this is a nice phone, anyone without that? 没有. Yeah, yeah. How do you start? When did you buy the phone? When did you get the phone?
Yeah, you asked me that.
Okay. And what else?
Yeah, I think Lente is a very good listener.
Okay.
And so whenever I answer something, she shows very interested.
Ah, okay.
Answer, and then
Right.
the further question depends on the question.
Right, right. Okay, build up on the question. You ask the next question based on the answer to the previous question. Excellent.
From the home to the family and
Oh, from the phone to ask the family. You can be a great salesperson. Right. So the thing is, actually, it's not. It may not be a good idea to make a starting statement. Starting statement like, oh, this is a nice phone. Oh, this is a great phone. Just like you go to a company, you tell people, oh, this is a great company. doesn't really mean anything. It may just, once you get a permission to ask questions, like in what we showed earlier on, the purpose of me meeting you is to find out whether we can deliver a better result. Is it okay if I can ask a few questions and understand the situation? Customer says yes, you ask a question, right? It may make sense to ask more of an open-ended question, right? Open-ended question usually is what we call 5 W's and 1 H, right? Who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? And which allows you to have more information. There could also be times when you need to have a close questions, right? When you want to get a confirmation from a customer. So things like if you talk about going back to the phone, you can ask customer, is that a new phone? Or
Yes.
did you just buy the phone?
yes.
It can be yes, it can be no. Doesn't really matter. I just want to have a confirmation. If it's an old phone, fine. So when did you buy it? Right? If it's a new phone, same thing. When did you buy it? Why did you buy it? But I get an understanding of whether it's a new or old phone. But it doesn't mean that closed questions are bad. It's just that open questions allows you to have the customer sharing more information in a shorter amount of time. And one of the key things that Lenny over here did really well is you ask the questions a lot of times based on what is the response from the customer. So you build on that. Sometimes salespeople ask questions without thinking about the response from customers. Right? So
Especially if there's a script, perhaps.
on the one hand, you probably will need to prepare some questions just in case you don't know what to ask.
Sure.
But on the other hand, you don't want to be so fixed that you will stick to the script no matter what the customers say. Right? So it's a balance of both, actually. So some examples over here. How do you go about developing new products? What are some various actions do you take to ensure 0 defects? Again, this is assuming if I'm talking to a manufacturing company, industrial company, if I'm talking to Amazon, No, actually, if Amazon salespeople are talking to their customers, this would be something that they could be asking. How do you go about developing new products? What are some actions you take to try to have zero defects? What are some of your best-selling products? What makes them sell so well? Things like that. I think I got some more behind. As I said, we'll be sending this to you, so I'll be going this a bit quickly. How long is the typical production cycle? How do you manage your inventory levels in case of fluctuating market demands? 你的库存如果说这个市场比较幅度比较大，那你们是怎么去确保这个库存？ Right, and so on. So these are just 5 general ways just to be curious about what's going on currently with the customer. Right? If in doubt, just think about if this is not a sales situation, it's just asking someone about their health, right, or something else. How would you go about to be as curious as possible about what's happening in the customer? This is going to be situational, right? And once you are curious, I mean, the thing about being curious is this: it actually helps you to build trust with the customer. Because being curious means you are showing you care. Right? I just want to find out what goes on in your company. How do you go about doing this? How do you go about doing that? It is me showing that I care without me saying I care. Right? And the customer will feel more comfortable, and then when I go to the things about needs, problems, difficulties, challenges, the customer will be more likely to share a bit more with me. Right? So this is how we build that initial trust. I want to be curious about what you're doing. And when you're curious, over here we are the questions, the examples over here tend to be more masculine, tend to be more task-oriented. We are all talking about business. We're just saying it doesn't always have to be the case. Right? Especially, we do training, we sell to HRs, and sometimes when we, a lot of HRs are ladies, and when we talk about things that are going around in the company, when we go into some of the details that goes on in the company, sometimes HRs may not really find that as me being curious. Sometimes customers actually like salespeople to be curious about them personally, and not just curious about what goes on in the company. Right? So these are examples that are just curious about the company. It really depends on the customer profile. Some customers require you to be curious about them personally. Maybe not so much about are you married, how many kids you have, not the kind of sensitive questions, but about their work to them in person. Right? Are you busy at work? What exactly do you do as HR? It's work related, but it's about their work as a person. Personally, how do they handle the work? Okay, so it can be a balance of both.
Is it like an indication that someone, because often when I meet clients or something and then they're coming in and the first thing is like they're excusing themselves for being so busy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was so busy, so let you wait a little bit, blah blah blah. Is this maybe an indication that you could go on that to get a trust?
It could be. It could be. Since you mentioned you are so busy, you can say, "Oh wow, what are some of the things you're doing?"
Yeah.